This is Brad Russell with FaithVillage.com. Today I'm talking with Sheridan Voysey, author of the new book, Resurrection Year, Turning Your Broken Dreams into New Beginnings. Thanks for hanging out with us today, Sheridan.
Brad, it's great to talk to you.
Super. Now, for those of you that don't know, Sheridan is a well-known author, speaker, and broadcaster on faith and spirituality in his native Australia, but now he lives with his wife, Merryn, in Oxford, England. In fact, Sheridan, last winter, I first discovered some of your beautiful photographs of the Oxford area, I love your eye for light and color, and enjoyed them a great deal.
Well, thank you. Now that I'm here in the UK, there's not a lot of light and sometimes not a lot of color. So I appreciate when we do have it, I've got an eye for it. I appreciate that.
You enjoy those days when they come.
I do.
Now, Resurrection Year is really something of an epic story about you and Merryn declaring the need to start over with your life as a family after a decade-long struggle with something of a broken dream. Could you share a little bit about the backstory of what led to this book and to this current chapter of your life?
Yeah, well, like you said, it's a 10-year story. Let me condense it really briefly for you. I remember in the year 2000, my wife, Merryn, walking into the kitchen and saying to me, "I think it's time." And I said, "Time for what?" And she said, "I think it's time we started a family." We'd been married about 5 years by that stage, and it was about the right time to start a family. And like many couples from that point on, every 28 days after that decision, you know, you're looking for signs, aren't you? You're looking for signs that you've had success. And there's normally some disappointment. You know, it can take a month or 2 or 3. Well, that continued on for us for, you know, a good 8 or 9 months, and we decided we needed to go and get some tests done. And as a result of tests and other tests, it was discovered that there was going to be a problem for us to conceive, particularly a problem on my side, and that this was going to require either a divine miracle or some sort of technological assistance. And so that, Brad, basically began a 10-year journey of trying to start a family through pretty much any way you can imagine.
Well, I know there's a lot of couples who could identify with you and certainly identify with the incredible stress that this puts on a marriage. What were the stress points for you in your marriage, and how did you and Merryn kind of navigate kind of the rocky shoals of all of that?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's an important question because anybody watching us now who is going through anything similar to this knows just how much it can be a stress on a marriage. We were sitting in the counselor's office of an IVF counselor when we started thinking about doing IVF. And she said to us, "Now you know that it can be very stressful for a couple going through in vitro fertilization." And we said, well, yes, we know that the drugs that a woman has to take first to stimulate greater egg production, and then there's another drug that pretty much is almost like induces a fake menopause that goes after. We know all of those drugs can cause all sorts of emotional havoc for the woman involved. Is that what you mean? And the counselor said, well, yes, but I'm not just talking about that. I'm actually talking about the decision making. The fact that there will be some times where you may not be on the same page as to whether you go on for another round of IVF and another one. When will you stop? It can be very costly, and yet the drive and desire for a child can actually be very, very strong. I'm talking about that kind of stress. And Merryn said to her, actually, you know, we've already made a decision that our marriage is more important than having a child. And with that, the counsellor pretty much just relaxed and lost her objective status. And she said, "I'm so glad I heard you say that, because just yesterday a couple sat in the very same chairs that you're in now. And the woman said in front of her husband to me, 'If this doesn't work, our marriage is over.'" So I think that is the commitment that actually helped us through, because things were to get very tough, and we weren't always on the same page in the future, whether it came to IVF, whether it came to looking at overseas adoption, which we looked at for quite a while, with the different countries. We had different ideas as to which country we should perhaps adopt from overseas before we then decided to go local. So it brings immense stress into a relationship, but that one commitment I would suggest to anybody: your marriage is more important than having a child, because too many marriages bust up as a result of trying to seek a child.